In the top stories, St. Kitts and Nevis establishes diplomatic relations with Palau. Barbados Prime Minister shares a vision for improving trade, and Chad's Prime Minister resigns after election. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday newscast. Today is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. I'm Scotticia Hendrickson. Nationally, the establishment of diplomatic relations between St. Kitts and Nevis and the Republic of Palau was signaled on Tuesday with a signing ceremony at the presidential office in the Republic of China, Taiwan. The joint communique was signed by Ambassador of St. Kitts and Nevis to the Republic of China, Taiwan, His Excellency Danye Francis, and Ambassador of the Republic of China, Taiwan, of Palau to Taiwan, His Excellency David Ukram, in the presence of Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Jeffrey Hanley. Also present to witness the signing was the newly inaugurated President of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Lai Ching-te, in his first witness of a diplomatic act since being sworn in as president on Monday. The establishment of diplomatic relations with Palau was initiated by Ambassador Francis, who told ZIZ of the significance of this new friendship between the two countries.
This morning, the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis signed diplomatic relations with the Republic of Palau, which is a Pacific island. This agreement opens up a world of opportunities for us where we can share our ideas and best practices in various areas such as trade, such as agriculture, culture, and also as small island development states, we can also see ideas in sustainable practices and climate change and climate action. So I'm very excited to see where this relationship with Palau will go.
Ambassador Francis said, and I quote, "Together we can address common challenges, promote peace and stability, and advance shared interests on the international stage. This partnership represents a new chapter in the bilateral relationship between our two nations and sets the foundation for a bright future of collaboration and cooperation," end quote. Also present at the signing ceremony were Attorney General Honorable Garth Wilkin and Director of Youth Sahira Joseph. The Right Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas, Minister of Foreign Affairs of St. Kitts and Nevis, met with Minister Plenipotentiary Ubrota Vandi Diarchi Raffi, Special Envoy for the Caribbean countries of the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation on Friday, May 17th. Key points discussed were the enhanced collaboration between St. Kitts and Nevis and Italy in the fields of science and technology and climate change ahead of the 4th International Conference of Small Island Developing States. Minister Douglas underscored the importance of Italy's support in advocating for the Multidimensional Voluntary Index, MVI, at this conference, which is crucial for addressing the unique challenges faced by the small island developing states. The long-standing diplomatic relation between St. Kitts and Nevis and Italy has been instrumental in tackling issues amplified by external factors. On that note, as the government of St. Kitts and Nevis continues to dialogue with Italy, it is hoped that bilateral relations will further flourish, bringing mutual benefits and strengthen cooperation. The Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs hosted its first ever interministerial meeting for gender focal points on Wednesday, May 15th. The meeting aimed to prepare for the national review of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, discussed gender-related issues, and fostered collaboration among gender focal points. The Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action remains a comprehensive policy document and a global framework for promoting gender equality. It outlines strategic objectives and actions across 12 critical areas of concern, addressing barriers that hinders women's full participation in all spheres of life. Acting Director of Gender Affairs Chanel Charles was quoted as saying, and I quote, "The Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action calls on the governments, international organizations, and civil society to take strategic action to ensure gender equality, tackling issues such as inequalities in decision making. In regional news, Barbados has created history, becoming the first country to ever stage its UNCTAD Global Chain Forum. More in this report.
Just over 980 guests from 172 countries are in the island for the first UNCTAD Global Supply Chain Forum. Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley has described the response as overwhelming. She shared her vision for improving trade here in the region. It involves developing the Bridgetown port to allow Barbados to become a trade hub for the South Caribbean.
It is the government's policy to be able to ensure that we beef up all of our logistics capacity and to be able to expand the Bridgetown port over the course of the next decade in order to give the countries of this hemisphere other opportunities in the event of the destruction that can be wrought within less than 24 hours of the infrastructure of our island states. We know that traditionally many go north, Jamaica and Bahamas and Miami, but that is sometimes the epicenter of the hurricane track, as we have come to learn, regrettably. That means, therefore, having the investment in resilience that you, Rebecca, have been speaking about, and that will allow us to work with other partners, be it Panama and others, to ensure that this region is not cut off from the multiple modes of production which more and more are to the east of the Americas.
The event is being held amid concerns about the movement of goods, given recent developments in the Red Sea and the Panama Canal. UNCTAD Secretary General Rebecca Greenspan has underscored the importance of the talks.
By February this year, traffic in the Red Sea and the Panama Canal was cut by half. I have just visited the Panama Canal, precisely to see with my own eyes what was happening. And they are really doing a great job in trying to take away the restriction and face the challenge. But you can see how climate change is really affecting the main roads of the world.
Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Tragedy struck over the weekend in St. Lucia when a 16-year-old lost his life as a result of drowning at ZIZ Beach. More in this DBS News report.
16-year-old Kevinus Leons of Wapatat is the island's latest drowning victim. The incident occurred on ZIZ Beach Saturday, 18th May 2024. According to reports, Leons was attempting to retrieve a ball when he encountered difficulty. An individual who attempted to rescue the teen says it all started when he heard a lady screaming.
I just put my bag on the side and started running down to the seaside. When we reached, asked her what had happened. She says her brother that ended up drowning. So immediately, me and the water sports, two of the water sports fellas went in the water, started searching. We didn't find him one time, but what ended up happening, it's like when the marine police came in, then another boat came in to help. Then that's when we ended up finding him in the bottom of the sea, then bring him on shore, try to pump out the water from his chest. Water was coming out, but like to me, there was no more life.
He says that the entire experience was heartbreaking for him. He calls on the relevant authorities to be more proactive when it comes to safety measures on beaches.
And we need to teach, I could say, the whole country, the young youths, the elder folks, you know, because when I watch at it, someone always getting drunk on the beach. And if they had enough lifeguards from the whole beach, apparently that would never happen.
The DBS News World spoke to a family member of the deceased who describes Leons as a good person.
So it's very hard, very hard. Every minute I see them, I'll cry. Very hard.
For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
In international news, Chadian opposition leader and Prime Minister Success Masra has tendered his resignation and that of a transitional government following interim President Manhattan Idris Deby's election victory. Here's more in this Reuters report.
Chadian opposition leader Success Masra said on Wednesday that he has tendered his resignation as Prime Minister. That's after interim President Mahamat Idris Deby was confirmed as winner of a disputed May 6th election. Mazra had claimed victory in that vote before preliminary results were announced and alleged that electoral fraud was being planned. But last week, Chad's Constitutional Council dismissed challenges from Mazra and another candidate and confirmed Deby as the winner, saying he had secured 61% of the vote. Mazra has acknowledged the council's ruling and said there were no legal means to contest the result. He had previously gone into exile after dozens of his supporters were killed in clashes with Deby's security forces. But he returned at Deby's invitation last year and was appointed Prime Minister of Chad's transitional government in January. On Wednesday, Mazra announced his resignation and that of the transitional government on social media, saying they had become irrelevant following the presidential election. The vote marks the first attempt at a return to constitutional rule among a group of West and Central African countries to have witnessed coups in recent years. Deby seized power after his long-ruling father was killed by rebels in 2021. The election victory prolongs the rule of the Deby family, but has had a firm grip on power since Deby's father took over, also via a coup, in the early 1990s.
Still on the international scene, Georgia should repeal the foreign influence law that was sparked mass protests, the Council of Europe's top constitutional law body said on Tuesday. More in this Euronews report.
The Council of Europe's Venice Commission says Georgia should repeal a foreign influence law that sparked a wave of protests and allegations claiming the government was trying to stifle dissent. Georgian Parliament approved the bill in its third and final reading last week. The divisive bill has sparked weeks of mass demonstrations, with critics seeing it as a threat to democratic freedoms and the country's aspirations to join the EU. The bill would require media, NGOs and other non-profits to register as pursuing the interests of a foreign power if they receive more than 20% of their funding from abroad. Georgia's government says the bill will stem harmful foreign influence over the country, but others worry the law is too similar to a Russian strategy used to crack down on dissent.
And now for the weather. Present weather is cloudy skies. Temperature is 28 degrees Celsius or 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are a moderate breeze of 14 miles per hour from the easterly direction. Seas are 1.2 to 1.5 meters or 4 to 5 feet. Weather forecast in St. Kitts and Nevis for today and tonight will be partly cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 6:38 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:37 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Scotty Sia Hendrickson.